Most people think that when people immigrate, it's because they want a better life, and it is usually that. But in the case of my parents, my dad really wanted to move somewhere because he wanted to go adventure. And my mom, she was not sure, but she said, okay, fine, let's go. And so he wanted to go to two places, either Australia or Canada. And my mom did not like the idea of moving to Australia because it was too far away from all of her family. So we decided on Canada. And lucky for me, it's a great country to be in, especially with some circumstances that I have. So I'm really happy that we ended up here. Mexican culture is very much family oriented. So to me, culture and family almost makes one big ball. So since it's so family based, most of the festivities are not even that much in the festivities and what we do. They're more in the sense that there's so many people that there's conversations everywhere and you see all of your aunts. And if you forget to invite someone from your family, they're going to be very offended. So you have to make sure, it's something that you have to work through. And that was especially hard when we moved here because for my party in kindergarten, my parents decided that as per in Mexico, they would invite all of the people that attended the kindergarten and all of the parents. And, they all came and all the Canadian moms were like, oh, so I stay? And so, there's little things like that, little ways that we celebrate that had to be, I guess, changed when we came here because we noticed that it wasn't the way that things worked in Canada. I am very passionate about reading and writing. It's my favorite thing to do. And it also comes with my diagnosis because most of the people who have what I have are really passionate about a certain thing, which is almost like Asperger's, where there's like a specific interest that you like. For me, it was reading and specifically about the Second World War for some reason. So you can guess how popular that made me, carrying around 3 bricks of books. My diagnosis is SNDV. In French, it's Syndrome de Dysfonction Non-Verbal. And in English, it's NVLD, I think. It's a nonverbal learning disorder. So it is a learning disorder, but it also has social aspects in the sense that most people are affected by a lot of things, such as anxiety and depression that come almost hand to hand with NVLD. So if I can explain it in an easy way, it's basically, as the name says, everything that is nonverbal, we cannot understand. So what you're saying, I can understand, but your tone, your face, the way that you're moving maybe, and how loud you're speaking doesn't necessarily give me a message. So if someone is really mad, but they're not saying it and they're just acting mad, I don't realize that they're angry. So, that's it's easy to see how that can become a problem in regular life because I am unable to understand the messages that people are giving me unless they speak through it. And especially when you're in a school setting, that's really difficult because teachers, for example, in math, they show you shapes and they tell you, oh, well, behind this shape, there's width to it, it's wide and there's another part after it. But I don't see that. I just see a square. So sometimes people have to explain that there's more behind what they're saying. I got my diagnosis when I was around 13 and 14. So that really made me have like a weird sense of understanding about myself. Because there was a certain point in my life where there were a lot of things that I wasn't able to do like all the other children. And those were really difficult to handle. For example, I'm not able to ride a bicycle, which sounds like something that isn't a big deal. But when you're 5 years old and everyone else can and you can't, it's hard to realize that there's something that's different about you. And so when I learned that not being able to ride a bicycle is actually something that helps make the diagnosis because none of us can, it was really interesting to see that it's something that's normal, and it makes me more human because it just made me realize and it made me have patience with myself too, because I used to get super frustrated when I couldn't do things. But now that I'm able to tell myself, well, it's okay, you can take some more time, it's fine. That's something that has helped me have a healthier relationship with myself. People just assume that we are dumb. They talk to us like babies. And they're like, "Oh, so did you understand?" Well, I did. You don't have to talk to me like that. And that's really difficult to deal with, especially when it's in a class setting. And they talk to everyone normally, and then they go, "So, Emilia, did you understand?" Yeah, I did, and even if I didn't, I can go ask about it. Like, I don't have to be reminded that I'm different all the time. I have my own coping ways. What helped me kind of not feel like an alien anymore was just there's a few groups that you can find on social media everywhere that are groups that have people with the same learning disabilities as you. And so you can see that there's other people in the world who struggle with it. Because even though about 3% of people in the world have what I have, there's some of us out there. You just have to find them and realize that maybe you're alone here, but you're not alone in the whole world. I work in a lot of summer camps, and I've always given some dance classes and stuff like that, like easy things. And I've learned that I'm very good with kids who are misunderstood. So there's always a few kids in the class that are just misunderstood, and or they cry a lot or they get angry and they don't really get it. And I think people sometimes forget to have patience. And I have a lot of patience because I need patience with myself. So, it's a trait that maybe I didn't have before, but I have had to learn. And so I've realized that I'm very good at talking to kids and not making them feel like babies, because it's exactly what people do to me. And so I try to not make them feel like they're less. They may be younger, but they're just as smart. And I think that's what I'm going to take with me into teaching. Like, they can be as slow or as fast as they want, and it doesn't matter. You just got to find your way. I think it's important for me to tell my story because I happen to have kind of a rare learning disorder, and I think if I talk about it, it will help with people who recognize themselves and go get that diagnosis, because a lot of time it's forgotten. Even if you have a learning disability or something that makes you different, it does not mean that you can't find friends, because a lot of times I struggled with feeling like if you don't fit in, you can't be in a group. But you can. Sometimes maybe you're a little different than the rest of the people, but it's okay. You just have to learn to love yourself, even though it's a difficult and very long road. If you don't love yourself, it's very difficult to love everyone else. You have to have an equal amount of love for everyone in your life as you do for yourself. And you have to be very patient sometimes, and that's okay.